G'day there ladies and gents of the internet, I am the Braveheart Aussie and welcome to a journey in world building. Today we're going to be exploring the third and final part of our setting deep dive miniseries into the world of Harlos. In the last episode we explored the society and economy of the planet with a focus on agricultural production, technological, political and economic governance. This painted Harlos as something of an idyllic utopia with bountiful and enviable socio-economic prosperity, creating something of a facade of perfection. However, as with all aspects of the Dark Diaspora, nothing is what it seems. In fact, the planet Harlos is gripped in by a grand conspiracy of immense proportions that threaten to unravel the foundations of the breadbasket of the Diaspora, both figuratively and literally. For while residents of the planet have been sold a consistent story of the flawless nature of the terraforming activities and of the unparalleled and incomparable success of the Geo-constellation satellite network in managing the climate and terrain of the planet, the technology is far from perfect. In reality, vast swathes of the planet's surface are undermined by a crawling network of catacomb-like tunnels and caverns. This geological abnormality appears to have been the result of a flaw in the original terraforming of the landscape of the planet, undertaken to create the plain-like tundra landscape necessary to support the industrial-scale production of broad-acre grain crops. This fact, in reality, would render the vast majority of the planet unsuitable for production in the short to medium term because of the risk of cave-ins and sinkholes. However, the export board, which controls the Geo-constellation satellites and provides a monopoly on LiDAR scanning across the planet, continues to hide this reality from the farmsteads and general populace of the planet so as not to create a run on food prices and undermine the value of the planet to the compact. This is key to why the terraforming technologies of the planet have not been used more widely across the Diaspora or commercialized by the compact. It is understood that only a handful of people across the compact leadership are aware of this fact, and reports from farmers of cave-ins and sinkholes are generally covered up or written off as isolated, unusual incidences. However, concerns have been raised by analysts within the Uberwachen station aware of the issue that the entire surface crust of the planet has the potential to destabilize and crumble within the next century. Such a global disaster would not only have the effect of utterly destroying the productive capacity of the planet, but would also threaten the lives of 6 million compact residents. However, in the absence of a solution, no attempts are being made to rectify the problem or communicate the risks to the general public. Of course, it doesn't help that the vast network of tunnels below the surface of the planet are home to a race of semi-nomadic humanoid creatures. It is unclear at the time of the Dark Diaspora whether the existence of these creatures or the extent of their population is known to the export board or the compact as a whole. However, the origin of the humanoids appear to tie back to an early secret that was uncovered during the initial terraforming of the planet. For while Harlos was identified as uninhabited when the project commenced, in reality it was home to an extensive network of 6 settlements across the planet linked to a persecuted religious cult that referred to themselves as the Templar Order. Tracing their origins back to Lost Earth and the pseudo-mystic and militaristic order of knights that served as elements of the medieval Christian fabric in the Eurasian culture, the Templar Order maintained some semblance of cohesion in the post-scattering era, and began to access a selection of planets and settlements throughout the galaxy for colonization. However, the emergence of the Tarvan Covenant saw all other religious factions, and in particular those with ties back to Old Soul, consistently and brutally discriminated against by authorities at the behest of the Covenant, as well as persecuted by the Covenant acolytes and demons. In several cases, Covenant authorized overwhelming military strikes from their Red Fleet to obliterate Templar settlements with massive collateral damage. In an attempt to secure themselves away from such aggression, the Templar Order settled the plains of Harlos in secret and established a series of self-contained underground communities spread across the planet. These communities functioned as isolated refuges, and of the original 15 that were established, only 6 were in existence at the time at which the planet was officially claimed by the Compact. While the Templar Order was aware of the presence of the fleet in orbit around the planet, they were unaware of the intentions of the Compact to terraform the world until it was too late, and the process of terraforming commenced with orbital bombardments and the establishment of the first Geo-constellation network. The active terraforming annihilated 90% of the remaining 100,000 members of the Templar Order that resided on the planet at the time of terraforming, with only those located in deeper settlements able to survive the reshaping of the surface. However, for those that survived the initial bombardment, the use of the terrain and climate warping fields of the Geo-constellation satellites, intensively utilised during the second phase of the terraforming, also had the effect of warping their bodies. At first this was represented in birth defects, and later saw children and then mature adults undergo significant physical change. Now, at the time of the Dark Diaspora, small animalistic-style nomadic communities of mutated descendants of the original Templar roam the underground caverns and tunnels created by the terraforming itself. The effect on these creatures and their evolution over time raises serious questions as to the health and well-being of existing residents that are living within the field to this day. At almost 8 feet tall, these mutant Templars have large black eyes, an absent nose being only an open hole at the beginning middle of their face, and a gaping maw of sharp teeth. They have a thick grey leather-like skin, as well as sharp ridge-like protrusions across their body. They are hairless and wear no clothes. Official reports of the creatures are minimal, as they are hiding in the very tunnels and catacombs that the export board and the compact are keeping secret from the general population. However, rumour tells of an underground boogeyman that threatens to emerge to the surface and raid farmsteads and carry away those farmers or their children who stray from the primary residence. These rumours are principally written off as fairy tales, to scare children and prevent them wandering off at night time. However, some unlucky souls, particularly those that fall into caverns and tunnels from surface breaks and sinkholes, know too well that the tales are real and that the mutated creatures, while aggressive, are not the mindless, violent husks that the stories portray them to be. And that is where we're going to leave today's episode. I've been really enjoying this series, The Planet of Harlos. It's been a very different setting for us to explore compared to those who have come before. The idea of a perfect society with a deep dark secret lying just beneath the surface has always been an appealing trope, and I was excited to have the opportunity to explore it in this deep dive. We have one more lore episode out this week, after which we'll be jumping into our next setting. But before that, next week I'm going to be having our State of the Project video for the second half of 2024 ahead of Christmas, as well as a faction video diving further into the Harlos export board. At the time of this video, the setting of Obfar is the one that is leading in the poll, so if you'd like to vote, make sure you go and check that out in the community tab on my channel. I really like the idea of lost and hidden failed colonies, as it reinforces the idea that the diaspora is so vast that it's possible for some places to go without visitors or even communication for centuries. But that is where we're going to leave it today. Thank you so much, hope you all have a wonderful day, and may the journey continue.